Built for trade, military conquests, and cultural exchanges, these roads were the lifelines of empires. I'm counting down 15 ancient roads that still exist today, starting with number 15, the Royal Road of Knossos. The Royal Road of Knossos in Crete in Greece was once a vital route for the ancient Minoan civilization. Stretching from the palace of Knossos to the town of Heraklion, it was a major connection for commerce and communication, and it played a critical role in the daily and ceremonial life of one of the earliest advanced societies. The Palace of Knossos at the start of the Royal Road was the political hub of the Minoan civilization, and the road connected it to the surrounding areas, not just for trade, but for the procession of religious and social activities. The road would have been bustling with activity, lined with vendors, artisans, and citizens along its entire length. The design and construction of the road was pretty advanced for its time, around 3,500 years ago, and was likely paved, providing ease of travel and durability. Archaeological evidence or hiking path for both locals and tourists. The trail's origin can be traced back to when it served as a lifeline for villagers and traders, and people would use this path to transport goods, particularly salt and seafood, between the rural communities and the coastal towns. Today, the trail's just over 9 miles long and winds through lush greenery, offering stunning views of Hong Kong's mountains and the South China Sea. It's not too challenging of a route, making it accessible to a wide range of fitness levels, and it features a mix of steep inclines and flat sections, leading you through shaded forest areas, past small waterfalls, and alongside terraced fields. Important landmarks along the route include the abandoned village of Sheklongkong, where you can see traditional stilt houses and get a sense of the region's architectural heritage. Almost acting kind of like a living museum, the hike along this route will transport you back to the earliest days, more than 1,000 years ago, when this was the only way to travel between the towns that it serves. Number 13, the Via Egnatia. The Via Egnatia is an ancient North Macedonia, Greece, and European Turkey along the way. While it was designed for military logistics, it quickly became a vital commercial route as well. It enabled the swift movement of troops and military supplies, but also facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. Olive oil, wine, ceramics, and precious metals were just some of the commodities that were traded along it. The road itself was built using large stone blocks and was carefully planned to include bridges, rest stops, and small fortresses. These features ensured that the road could be used throughout the year and provided safety and comfort for travelers. The road's route was not only direct, but also integrated into the topography of the region, avoiding natural obstacles and reducing travel times. Today, the parts of it still exist, and they serve as a historical corridor that reveals the complex layers of Balkan history. As a result, it continues as a reminder of Roman engineering and administrative prowess in the region, but also as evidence of the rich culture and trade it brought too. Number 12. In South Carolina, the road was essential for transportation of agricultural products, from plantations to coastal ports such as Charleston, where they were shipped to other colonies in Europe. In Massachusetts, the King's Highway connected major colonial towns and cities, serving as a vital conduit for the exchange of ideas and news. The road, too, became a path for spreading revolutionary ideas, linking key cities of the American Revolution such as Boston, where significant events like the Boston Massacre and Boston Tea Party took place. Today, large sections of the highway have since been paved and continue in use as part of the modern-day road network, while other parts remain largely how they've always been, offering a scenic journey through America's colonial past, showcasing historic landmarks and telling the stories of the people who traveled this route centuries ago. Number 11. The Old Great North Road. The Old Great North Road, which was built between 1825 and 1836, is located in New South Wales and was originally built to establish an overland route from Sydney to the Hunter Valley communities. Once completed, though, it certainly succeeded in facilitating trade and communication within the colony, but also became a potent symbol of the British Empire's broader aims to civilize and develop its overseas territories. Today, the Old Great North Road is recognized as a part of the Australian Convict Site's World Heritage Listing, highlighting its significance in the narrative of global forced migration of convicts. Sections of it are preserved within a national park, and it offers visitors a scenic and historic journey through Australian history. It is, of course, certainly not without controversy, though, especially in a historical context, but without it, Australia would have been a very different place. Number 10. The Khmer Highway. The Khmer Highway was once the backbone of the Khmer Empire, which flourished in Southeast Asia from the 9th to the 15th centuries. Stretching across what is today Cambodia and parts of Thailand, this network was a crucial element in the empire's administration and communication, linking the city of Angkor. Organized approach to infrastructure development that was far ahead of its time in the region. Most importantly, though, the Khmer Highway played a vital role in the annual religious and ceremonial processions that were central to the Khmer spiritual life. These processions consolidated royal power and religious authority and ensured the territories of the empire remained as a single political unit. In modern times, some sections of the road can still be seen and used, particularly near major archaeological sites such as Angkor Wat and other less visited ruins. These ancient routes attract historians, archaeologists, and tourists who are eager to explore the physical traces of what was once one of the most sophisticated empires in the world. Number 9. The Persian Royal Road. The Persian Royal Road, which is regarded as one of the most impressive feats of engineering and administration in history, was a crucial link that sustained the vast Achaemenid Empire under the rule of King Darius the Great around 2,500 years ago. The expansive network stretched for 1,600 miles across the empire. Herodotus, the ancient Greek historian, wrote about the speed with which messages were carried using the postal couriers on horseback. He famously said that neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. This system was so efficient that messages can cover the entire length of the road in a matter of days. Efforts have been underway, though, to uncover some sections and stations, and these have helped historians understand how the Achaemenid Empire was able to spread so quickly and maintain its influence for so long. Number 8. The Nakasendo Highway, Japan. The Nakasendo Highway, which is also known as the Central Mountain Route, is a historic route in Japan that connected what is now modern-day Tokyo to Kyoto during the Edo period between the 17th and 19th centuries. It covered a distance of about 330 miles, or about 534 kilometers, and it was one of 5 major routes commissioned by the Tokugawa shogunate. Unlike the more famous Tokaido, which followed the coast, the Nakasens, particularly between the post town of Sumago and Magome in the Kizo Valley, have been almost perfectly preserved. These areas are popular for their scenic beauty and for offering a glimpse into the Japan of the past, with restored buildings and marked trails that invite travelers to experience life in the Edo period. Moving on to number 7, the San Bernardino Pass, Switzerland. The San Bernardino Pass in Switzerland is probably best known today as one of the bendiest roads in the world that attracts car enthusiasts from all over. But by no means is it a new route. It's got an elevation of over 6,700 feet, or about 2,000 meters, but perhaps surprisingly, it's the pass's history that actually dates as far back as the Roman Empire. But it wouldn't be until the Middle Ages that it gained prominence as an important trade route. The pass was instrumental in the transport of goods such as silk, spices, and mail between Germany and Italy, and would become even more important with the opening of a hospice in the 15th century by the Order of St. John, which provide refuge and Number 6. The King's Highway, Jordan. The King's Highway is an ancient route that's been used by countless different civilizations, from the Nabateans to Romans and the early Christians and Muslims, covering a distance of around 208 miles, or about 330 kilometers, from the northern city of Irbid to the southern port of Aqaba. This historic route winds along the entire length of Jordan. It originates from an even older Bronze Age and Iron Age route. The King's Highway was formalized during the Nabatean period, and it became a crucial part of the incense and spice trade routes. It flourished further under Roman rule after the Roman annexed the kingdom the year 106, incorporating it into their extensive network of roads. The Romans fortified the route with military outposts and constructed a series of architectural works along the way, including cities, baths, and temples, many of which have lasted. Mount Nebo, which is a stop on the route, is said to be the site where Moses was granted a view of the Promised Land. This location features a serpentine cross sculpture by Italian ancient roads. Stretching for more than 1,900 miles or 3,000 kilometers, it connected the Atlantic coast in present-day Brazil with the Pacific coast in Peru. This extensive pathway was in place long before the arrival of Europeans and showed the advanced level of navigation and engineering of indigenous peoples. The origins of the route are not known, with evidence suggesting it was used by various cultures even before the Inca Empire's expansion. It did serve multiple purposes, facilitating trade and cultural exchange, and furthermore, it played a crucial role in the spread of cultural practices and knowledge, contributing to a shared spiritual heritage. The path wasn't a single uniform road but a network of routes, often forged by following natural features such as river valleys and mountain ranges. The road system was integrated harmoniously with the hush and varied landscapes in the continent, from the dense rainforest to the dry plains. The route was spiritually significant. It played a central role in the cosmology of the Andean cultures. Pilgrimages along the route were undertaken to honor the forever. Number 4. The Via Augusta. The Via Augusta was the longest Roman road in Hispania, and it's one of the most important examples of the engineering capabilities of ancient Rome. Stretching for over 900 miles, or about 1,500 kilometers, it covered the length of Spain, from the Pyrenees in the north, crossing through what is today Catalonia, Valencia, Murcia, and Andalusia, and ending at Cadiz in the southern tip. In a similar way to other Roman roads, it was originally built to allow for the fast movement of troops and military supplies, and it quickly became a crucial commerce artery. Along this route, goods such as olive oil, wine, metals, and salt were transported to other parts of the empire, contributing to their fast development. The Via Augusta would also play a central role in the cultural integration and spread of Roman practices across Hispania. The road allowed for the movement of people, including officials, traders, and settlers, which further enhanced the cultural exchanges. It was constructed with sophisticated techniques featuring paved surfaces, bridges. Number 3. The Silk Road. The Silk Road, it was an ancient network of trade routes that spanned from eastern China to the Mediterranean. Now, fundamentally, it shaped the cultural, commercial, and technological landscapes of the regions it connected, and became arguably the most important trade route ever. The intricate series of pathways, which existed from around 130 BC to the 14th century, enabled the exchange of goods, ideas, religions, and even diseases, linking the great civilizations China, India, Persia, Arabia, and the Roman Empire. The origins of the Silk Road are largely attributed to the efforts of the Han Dynasty in China. The Chinese traded silk, teas, salt, sugar, porcelain, and spices, goods that were highly prized in Europe and the Middle East. In return, China imported horses, wool, precious stones, and metals from the West. The economic boon facilitated by these exchanges allowed cities along the Silk Road to flourish as major centers of commerce of Central Asia, the desolate deserts of Arabia, and over high mountain passes in the Himalayas. But the economic and cultural incentives really drove them to make those perilous journeys anyway. In later years, the Silk Road's importance diminished a bit with the rise of sea trade routes, and it fell into disuse following the decline of the Mongol Empire and the increasing isolationism of powerful dynasties in China. Number 2. The Ridgeway. The Ridgeway, which is Britain's oldest road, is a road that stretches across the rolling hills and landscapes of southern England. This ancient trackway has been in use for over 5,000 years, serving prehistoric travelers, traders, and soldiers as a reliable passage through the often dense woodlands. Today, it extends approximately 87 miles, or about 140 kilometers, from Overton Hill near Avebury in Wiltshire to Ivinghoe Beacon in Buckinghamshire, offering modern hikers, cyclists, and equestrians a scenic journey through some of UK's most rich and visually stunning countryside, looking much as they would have to our ancestors. The Ridgeway National Trail, which is officially recognized in 1972 as well-maintained and marked, providing access of some of Britain's most significant archaeological sites. And it helps to educate and preserve the trail's rich history while promoting sustainable tourism practices that ensure its preservation. Number 1. The Road to Giza. The Road to Giza is an iconic path that leads to one of the most impressive architectural structures of ancient civilizations. Passing along the Giza Plateau just outside of modern-day Cairo, the road now sees millions of tourists pass by each year. If you've been there, you may not have realized that at the time, but this is a route that people have been taking for at least 4,500 years, past the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx, back in the time when the Giza complex was constructed during Egypt's 4th dynasty. Originally, the Road to Giza was a ceremonial path that was built for the pharaohs. It wasn't so much functional, but a sacred route designed camels that carry curious visitors. As visitors approach the site, the road provides dramatic unveilings of the Pyramid of Khufu, the largest and oldest of the three, followed by the pyramids of Khafre and Menkaure, and finally the Sphinx, watching over the plateau with its limestone gaze. Beyond its function as a tourist route, the Road to Giza remains a symbol of the eternal nature of the pyramids, representing a bridge between the past and the present, and with it, carrying countless stories of ancient glories, cultures, and beliefs.